The power of the subconscious mind. The operation theatre was ready. The patient was lying on the bed, groaning with pain. His left leg had to be amputated as gangrene had already set in. The doctor neared the patient and, to everyone's surprise, began to pass his hands slowly over the patient's face, leaving a gap of an inch in between. The hands continued from the face down to the pit of the man's stomach. This went on for half an hour. After a while, the man stopped groaning, and when questioned, his answers were sensible and logical. Asking him to remain quiet, the doctor resumed the passes for another half an hour. After moments of silence and fewer grimaces, the man was asked to open his eyes. He replied that there was a cloud of smoke in the room. The same process went on, and in about an hour, the patient's senses were gone. His replies became incoherent, and he fell into a deep sleep. All traces of pain disappeared as his face looked relaxed in repose. While the operation was going on in the presence of many respectable personalities, the patient remained in trance for the entire period. After being operated successfully, he was left undisturbed for more than an hour. Then he was called by name, but there had been no responses. The doctor pinched him. It produced no effect whatsoever. No amount of hallooing in his ears could attract his attention. And liquor ammonia that could bring tears into eyes at once was inhaled for some moments without causing an eyelid to quiver. In front of a bright light, the doctor opened his eyes, one after the other, but there was no effect upon the iris. Everyone present in the room was now fully convinced that total insensibility of all the senses did exist. The whole process had started at 11 a.m. and near 3 o'clock he had awoken. Shortly afterwards, when he was interrogated regarding reminiscences, he narrated his remembrance in going to the hospital and nothing more. He admitted that he was feeling well and there was no pain anywhere else. When asked about pinching and of any foul smell, he mentioned nothing about it. The name of the doctor was James Esdale, a Scottish surgeon who worked in Bengal under the East India Company. Between 1843 and 1846, he performed more than 400 major operations of all kinds, such as amputations, removal of tumors and cancerous growths, cataract operations, and so on. All operations were conducted under mental anesthesia because ether or any other modern methods of anesthesia were yet to be discovered. More than that, post-operative mortality rate of patients operated on by him was extremely low, probably 2 or 3%. Patients felt no pain, and the most miraculous wonder was that there was no deaths during the operations. How was it possible? How did it work? The process, as Dale referred to as mesmerism, is a term that evolved from the theories and practices of a man named Franz Mesmer. Mesmer, in the 18th century, hypothesized that every individual had magnetic fluid flowing through channels throughout their body, and the blockages in the flow of this fluid caused emotional and physical disease. He also stated that this fluid could be transferred from a healthier person into the system of a sick person to soothe and heal him from his pain. Dr. Esdale also believed in the fact behind this process. But as there is no evidence for the existence of magnetic fluid, mesmerism almost died a natural death. Today, mesmerize means to get someone's attention completely so that they cannot think. It is now revived in modified form as hypnosis. The term hypnosis was coined by a man named Dr. James Braid back in the 19th century who believed the subject to be in a particular state of sleep, a trance. Where the technique of mesmerism resorted to hand passes or stroking the patients, hypnosis uses words to induce a trance state. Now the most important question arises. How does it work on the human body? The marvelous answer is that both the processes work not on the body but on our mind. The theory of hypnosis proposes that hypnotized subjects enter an altered state of consciousness wherein behavioral control can be dissociated from awareness. In hypnotism, all kinds of suggestions are impressed upon our subconscious mind. Our mind is like an iceberg, floating with 1/7 of its bulk above water. The part above water is our conscious mind. It works with the help of our five sense organs. We think and make all our decisions with our conscious mind. And whatever we habitually think sinks into our subconscious mind to form our personality, our attitude, our character, and makes our destiny. Subconscious mind is like a hard disk which stores our experiences, emotions, and thoughts. Sometimes past experiences which remain dormant in our subconscious mind surge up in our dreams. In fact, our subconscious mind is always working. It never sleeps. It works silently on the functioning of our inner body, like running our heart, digesting food, maintaining our body temperature, and so on. The primary difference between conscious and subconscious mind is that the latter cannot argue controversially. If we feed it with wrong suggestions, it will accept it as true and will proceed to bring them in our reality. When we consistently say, I can't do this, I can't afford this, I'm too old for this excursion, etc., we actually impregnate our subconscious mind with negativity and it responds accordingly. For instance, an extremely gifted singer might fail to perform well due to fear of failure. Likewise, we wound ourselves by getting angry, fearful, jealous, and vengeful day after day. What we fail to realize is, in entertaining such thoughts regularly, we actually help them become a habit. Instead of conveying erroneous thoughts, if we try to nurture constructive, harmonious thoughts, our subconscious mind will eventually accept the positive ideas. According to hearsay, an old woman who was losing her memory gradually regained it by constantly repeating the sentence, I have a very good memory. And at the end of 3 weeks, her memory was back. Our outward happenings have their seeds within, said Rishi Sri Aurobindo. All of our unhealthy current behaviors, such as smoking, losing temper, alcoholism, or compulsive overeating, has deep-rooted past causes lying down in our subconscious mind. Since our subconscious mind accepts suggestions, so auto-suggestions may help us to banish our mild discrepancies, and for other major issues, we can take help of various hypnotherapists. Hypnosis involves the induction of a state of mind in which a person's normal critical or skeptical nature is bypassed, allowing for acceptance of suggestions. One of the foremost conditions of hypnotherapy is the patient should be receptive. It was same in case of mesmerism too. Dr. Esdale might have been unaware of the function of the unconscious mind in case of mesmerism, but he admitted that receptiveness had an important role in putting the patient in trance. He wrote in his book that the success he had met with was mainly due to the patients being so simple, unsophisticated children of nature, neither thinking, questioning, nor remonstrating, but passively submitting to his pleasures without the smallest degree of understanding his object or intentions. So, if we deeply acknowledge our subconscious mind, we may relieve ourselves from many unwanted circumstances and enjoy healthier minds.